Number 2 on the list comes from the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 21. This was an awesome match. Of course, they laid the groundwork with this on Monday Night Raw with Chris Jericho pitching the idea to Eric Bischoff, and I'm not 100% sure if they're just running with that as the real story. On the Chris Jericho podcast, he sort of ran with it, saying that he was the guy that came up with the match. And of course, everybody knows that Edge would go on to win, which would make him able to cash in against John Cena after the Elimination Chamber match way later that year, I believe in December. But, the story's been out and the story's been told. Edge didn't even want to be a part of this match. He had done TLC matches. He'd been through this 1,000 times. And if this was going to take to get him on the WrestleMania card, he just didn't want to be a part of it. He said that he would wait until WrestleMania next year because he was held off at this show, and he wasn't on the year before due to injury. He just knew that he was going to blow it out of the park at WrestleMania 22. It was actually the guys that came to Edge and was like, don't be an idiot. You're going to win this match. You're going to want to be in here. You're going to want to be a part of it. All of these guys want to steal the show because it's going to make their stock be worth more. Of course, Chris Jericho had main evented WrestleMania 18. Chris Benoit had main evented WrestleMania 20. And these guys didn't want to let their spot slide. And at the same point, you had Shelton Benjamin, you had Christian, you had Kane. All of these guys wanted to make sure that they had their stock rise in the upcoming year to give them a better shot to be in a better match at the next year's WrestleMania. They were going to, go out there and do everything. This was in the number 2 slot at the WrestleMania that year. And I think that, especially with Undertaker, going on after, this might have been looked at as sort of like the death spot. But this really, gets everybody pumped up. It's hard not to get pumped up when you have guys, hitting each other with ladders, climbing up and doing spots, falling off the top of the ladders. This is always going to get you pumped up. And I think this was a great way to establish a way to get, 6 guys onto the card, 6 guys in the match is the perfect number of people, bumping and working together and everything like that. This was a great group of guys to get in there. I mean, like I said earlier, you had the established veterans. You had the guys, just trying to get to the top. You had a guy like Christian, who basically had Tyson Tomko, who even got to get in the ring at some times because Christian was sort of like the guy who had to have the bodyguard, do the work for him because he was that, snobby heel that made you want to hate him more. A great match. I don't think there's really any spots that puts it over the top. It's just, it's just the first one, so it's always going to be special. They didn't tell us a lot going into what this match was going to be, almost like, the Elimination Chamber when it debuted. It was almost like they didn't know what to tell us on Raw or SmackDown because they didn't know what this match was going to be until the guys actually worked it out in the ring and figured it out, and this became, a WrestleMania tradition until it was, such a much popular match that they moved it to its own pay-per-view and moved it from having one Money in the Bank match on a pay-per-view to 2, where you would have one for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship and you'd have one for the Monday Night Raw World Title. So it's all got to start somewhere, and at number 2, the WrestleMania 21 match won by Edge sits.